Welcome to Homelessness Documentary.
On U.S. Homeless Stories, today's story begins in Philadelphia, a city known as the birthplace of American freedom, yet one where thousands of people live without a place to call home. In Philadelphia, more than 5,500 people are currently experiencing homelessness, spread across shelters, temporary housing, and the streets themselves. Behind these numbers are lives shaped by rising housing costs, untreated mental health challenges, addiction, and systems that too often fail to intervene before people fall through the cracks. By day, Philadelphia appears vibrant and historic. Busy sidewalks, restored neighborhoods, and a city that proudly honors its past. But woven into that daily rhythm is another reality. People sleeping near transit stations, carrying their entire lives with them, existing quietly alongside a city that rarely slows down. This film was created to document that reality and amplify voices that are often unheard. Stay with the video until the end. Leave a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and share this story, so these lives are not reduced to background noise, but finally seen. The true face of the crisis. Philadelphia is widely known as the birthplace of American independence, a city built on ideas of freedom, resilience, and opportunity. Yet in 2025, beneath this historic identity, a deep and growing homelessness crisis continues to unfold quietly across the city. According to combined data from the Philadelphia Office of Homeless Services, point-in-time counts, and Pew Charitable Trusts, more than 5,500 people are currently experiencing homelessness in Philadelphia, reflecting a 6 to 10% increase compared to the previous year. Nearly 1,000 individuals are living without shelter, exposed to weather, displacement, and daily uncertainty across a city of 1.6 million residents, highlighting a widening gap between economic growth and housing access. This crisis exists in plain sight. Philadelphia welcomes over 2 million visitors each year to sites such as the Liberty Bell and Independence National Historical Park. While just blocks away, sidewalks, transit corridors, and public spaces are quietly used for survival rather than celebration. Rising housing costs continue to accelerate the problem, with average rents increasing more than 30% over the past 8 years, while wages for many workers have remained largely stagnant. At the same time, shelter capacity and affordable housing production have failed to keep pace, leaving thousands with no buffer against sudden financial disruption. Homelessness in Philadelphia is not the result of a single cause or personal failure. It is the outcome of layered pressures that gradually remove stability. When one missed paycheck, rent increase, or unexpected expense can eliminate housing security, the question becomes unavoidable. How protected is anyone in this system? U.S. Homeless Stories begins here, not to assign blame or provoke outrage, but to examine the realities that exist behind the city's historic image. And as this story unfolds, it becomes clear that what lies ahead challenges not only how Philadelphia is seen, but how close many may already be to the edge. Street life and the struggle to survive. When night settles over Philadelphia, a city spanning 142 square miles, approximately 1,200 people are left to sleep outdoors every night, according to the Philadelphia Office of Homeless Services 2025. This figure does not include thousands more living in hidden homelessness, staying in vehicles, rotating between temporary spaces, or moving constantly to avoid being noticed. For many, the street is not a choice, but the last remaining option after housing becomes unreachable. In a city visited by more than 2 million tourists each year, public spaces quietly shift roles after dark. Sidewalks, parks, and underpasses become places of survival rather than transit or leisure. Philadelphia currently operates fewer than 20 free public restrooms, based on the 2024 point-in-time count, a number that stands in stark contrast to the more than 5,500 individuals experiencing homelessness across the city. As a result, basic needs such as sanitation, rest, and personal safety become daily obstacles rather than guaranteed rights. Economic pressure continues to push hundreds into street homelessness each year. Average one-bedroom rent in central areas now exceeds $1,450 per month, while many service sector wages remain near $15 an hour, forcing households to spend well over half of their income on housing alone. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, 2024, nearly 38% of low-income workers in the region do not have enough savings to survive even 1 month without income, illustrating how quickly stability can collapse. Without a fixed address, access to employment, healthcare, and social services becomes severely limited, trapping people in a cycle where survival replaces recovery. If one missed paycheck or rent increase can erase housing security, how prepared is anyone to withstand that fall? U.S. Homeless Stories presents these realities not to assign blame, but to remind us that homelessness is not distant or rare. It is a fragile edge many live closer to than they realize. If this perspective resonates, like helps extend awareness. And subscribing to U.S. Homeless Stories keeps you with the story as deeper truths unfold ahead. Kensington, where drugs don't need to hide. In Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood, the open presence of substance use creates a grim, unrelenting atmosphere that dominates daily life for many residents and visitors alike. This compact 1.5 square mile zone, populated by about 25,000 people, stands out as one of the most visible hubs for such activities on the East Coast, where exchanges happen not in secrecy, but right on bustling sidewalks and street corners. City records from the first half of 2025 reveal police interventions removing over 30,000 grams of dangerous substances, a quantity so massive it could overwhelm entire community storage facilities. Yet the cycle continues unabated, drawing in individuals from surrounding areas and turning public spaces into zones of constant transaction. With over 50 corner stores lining the main avenues, the accessibility blends seamlessly into everyday routines, making avoidance nearly impossible for locals navigating to work or school. While national data from the OPB indicates a 15% drop in related incidents statewide, but local persistence paints a darker, more entrenched picture that defies broader trends. The reality here is one of exposed hardship, where sidewalks become littered with remnants of use, and the air carries a heavy sense of stagnation that affects health, safety, and community morale. Outreach efforts, like the 5 nightly designated sites for support vans, reach over 1,000 people monthly, according to the city's public safety office, offering basic supplies and guidance. But the sheer visibility amplifies the isolation for those entangled, turning what could be private struggles into public spectacles. This openness not only normalizes the routine, but also heightens risks, as nearby industrial zones with hundreds of workers brush against these dynamics, blurring lines between stability and vulnerability. The neighborhood's persistent challenges reflect a broader failure to contain the spread, leaving hundreds exposed to environments where basic movement requires caution, and the psychological weight builds day by day, eroding any semblance of normalcy. What if you suddenly found yourself walking these streets daily, facing the same unrelenting exposure that could tip anyone's life off balance through one unforeseen hardship? How would that constant visibility make you feel, knowing that such circumstances aren't reserved for a few, but could touch anyone in a moment of crisis? As we delve into these unfiltered truths in U.S. Homeless Stories, it quietly urges us to recognize our interconnected roles in supporting those caught in these visible webs, fostering a shared commitment to humane solutions. But hold on, the layers of this crisis extend further, leading to a crucial perspective shift in the moments ahead that reframes everything. Living amid waste and needles. In Philadelphia's Kensington neighborhood, 2025 city estimates reveal over 1,000 people amid a landscape cluttered with persistent debris and hazardous sharps, turning simple walks into risky endeavors. Cleanup operations under Mayor Parker's prevention, intervention, and enforcement plan have cleared tons of waste from bustling routes like Kensington Avenue, a 2-mile thoroughfare humming with activity. Yet the rapid reaccumulation persists, as urban flow seems to replenish the mess daily. Harm reduction strategies, such as syringe services at over 10 citywide spots, have lowered improper disposal by up to 50% in nearby zones per a 2025 R Street Institute study. But coverage shortfalls leave pavements scattered with dangers, impacting not only residents, but also families in adjacent 5-acre parks, or the daily influx of over 200,000 SEPTA riders threading through the area. This setting not only mars the visuals, but heightens perils, where biohazards blend with trash to invite pests and elevate infection risks in a district with a 45% poverty rate. As highlighted in Grid Philly's August 2024 report, alarming data suggesting about 1/3 of the city's homeless confront these focused threats. Scarce sanitation, with fewer than 30 hygiene stations available, intensifies the hardship, making hygiene a rare privilege and daily routines a careful dance around decay and hidden hazards that subtly sap resilience. What if you navigated these littered paths routinely, evading concealed risks? How would that ongoing caution affect you? Especially considering that life changes could place anyone in similar circumstances. As these harsh truths come to light in U.S. homeless stories, they emphasize our joint effort toward cleaner, more secure environments via community initiatives. If this portrayal prompts reflection, a like can spread the word, and subscribing keeps you in the loop for further discoveries. The issues run deeper still. Next, how such exposure shapes wider dynamics, with a pivotal insight awaiting. Social impact on public health. The interconnected toll of homelessness on Philadelphia's public health landscape in 2025 reveals a cascading effect that burdens individuals and strains communal resources, often invisibly at first but profoundly over time. As a regional medical powerhouse with over 90 hospitals, including facilities like the University of Pennsylvania handling 1.5 million patient visits annually, the city still grapples with a sharp uptick in health complications among the unhoused, evidenced by a national high of 35 per 10,000 adults, aged 35 to 44, experiencing homelessness, according to the National Alliance to End Homelessness's September report. A rate that shocks in its intensity and signals untreated issues rippling outward. In areas like Kensington, with over 50,000 daily commuters via SEPTA routes, scarce hygiene resources, limited to under 100 clean water access points citywide, facilitate the quiet spread of conditions such as hepatitis C, turning everyday environments into unintended vectors for broader community exposure. This dynamic creates a vicious feedback loop. Instability exacerbates mental and physical strains, with nearly 40% of those affected dealing with issues like anxiety or depression, amid wait times averaging 90 days for specialists and barriers like lacking insurance. Overwhelming North Philadelphia's agencies, where unemployment reaches 15%, and driving up hospital costs that echo through the system. The result is hundreds navigating compounded vulnerabilities, where basic health maintenance becomes a luxury, and the absence of stable housing amplifies everything from minor ailments to chronic concerns, underscoring how these challenges don't isolate but interconnect, affecting workforce participation and neighborhood vitality in subtle yet significant ways. What if an unexpected setback left you without a secure place, heightening your own health risks in ways that feel overwhelming? How might that vulnerability shift your perspective, knowing it's a possibility for us all? As these realities unfold in U.S. homeless stories, they softly highlight our mutual stake in nurturing healthier environments, where small societal adjustments can ease widespread pressures. If this look into health impacts prompts thoughtful consideration, a like could help share the awareness, and subscribing ensures you catch the continuing narratives. Yet, the exploration doesn't pause here. Await a key insight toward the end that illuminates paths forward with clarity. A city's housing crisis. Philadelphia's escalating housing shortage in 2025 forms a silent undercurrent that displaces families and individuals at an alarming rate, transforming stable lives into precarious existences overnight. Amid a city of 1.6 million residents, the gap stands at over 64,500 affordable units for low-income households. As documented in the Housing Initiative Partnership's May report, a shortfall so profound it equates to leaving an entire suburb's worth of people without viable options, pushing eviction rates up 8% this year alone, based on court filings. In districts like Center City, where one-bedroom rents have jumped another 5% to surpass $1,600 on average, while median incomes stall around $50,000 yearly, countless workers find themselves funneling over 40% of their paychecks into shelter, leaving little buffer for essentials, and amplifying the risk of sudden homelessness. This crisis manifests in overcrowded temporary arrangements and abandoned properties turned into makeshift refuges, where hundreds face monthly upheavals that erode financial and emotional reserves. Mayor Parker's $2 billion HOME initiative, with its $277 million first-year allocation approved in December, targets creating 30,000 units, including 10,000 deeply affordable ones, by leveraging 500 vacant lots through faster permitting, yet the immediate strain persists, with North Philly's 35% poverty rate underscoring how entire communities bear the brunt. The imbalance isn't just numbers. It's the quiet unraveling of routines, as rising costs collide with stagnant wages, forcing choices between food, utilities, and a roof, and highlighting how systemic delays and waitlists, often stretching years, compound the desperation for those on the edge. Imagine a rent increase or job shift forcing you into this uncertainty, where home becomes a fleeting concept. Could it happen to you? Reminding us that economic slips aren't selective, but can affect anyone. What steps might you take if faced with such instability? A gentle nudge that we're all vulnerable in an unpredictable world. Through these grounded insights in U.S. homeless stories, we sense the collective duty to advocate for equitable access, weaving a fabric of support that benefits society as a whole. If this examination of housing pressures resonates with your own reflections on security, consider liking to amplify the discussion and subscribe to journey further into these vital topics. The story builds from here, with an upcoming revelation that connects the dots in unexpected ways, drawing us closer to understanding the full scope. A ray of hope in new models. Even as Philadelphia contends with escalating challenges in 2025, a series of emerging initiatives and models emerge as beacons of potential progress, designed to provide structured pathways toward greater stability for those affected by homelessness. Drawing from the latest data, the city has seen a 10% rise in homelessness this year, reaching 5,516 individuals, according to Pew's April 2025 report, a figure so striking it represents more people than the capacity of many large venues, underscoring the urgent need for expanded responses. In response, Mayor Cherelle Parker's One Philly plan to end street homelessness, detailed in her December 2025 executive order, commits to adding 1,000 new shelter beds through partnerships with major institutions like Jefferson Hospital, an expansion that could shelter a population equivalent to a small town and directly counters the 67% increase in unsheltered counts over the past 3 years, as tracked by municipal sources. Complementing this, the $2 billion HOME initiative rolls out with a $277 million allocation in its first year, aiming to develop or preserve 30,000 affordable units citywide, including 10,000 targeted for the most vulnerable groups, by streamlining processes on 500 vacant lots to accelerate construction and address the profound shortage that leaves nearly half of renters cost-burdened, spending 30% or more of their income on housing, per the Pew Charitable Trust's 2025 analysis. In high-need areas like Kensington, where substance-related hurdles impact nearly 38% of unhoused residents based on health department estimates, innovative frameworks such as the Kensington Wellness Court, launched in January 2025, shift focus towards supportive interventions, engaging over 1,000 individuals monthly through mobile outreach units that offer guidance and resources, fostering environments where access to care feels more immediate and less daunting. These approaches emphasize holistic integration, linking housing stability with health services and community engagement to disrupt entrenched cycles, as seen in the enhancement of public amenities like water access points, still under 50 in key districts, but now bolstered by new distribution efforts and the revitalization of historic zones like Old City, with its over 700 preserved buildings serving as anchors for inclusive development. The real impact lies in how these models gradually transform daily realities, turning scattered efforts into coordinated systems that reduce the hundreds displaced annually, easing the quiet burdens of uncertainty and isolation that weigh on so many. What if an abrupt change in circumstances left you relying on such programs for a fresh start? How vital would their existence feel? A sobering thought that these vulnerabilities aren't distant, but could arise for anyone amid life's unpredictabilities. As these developments take shape in U.S. homeless stories, they subtly evoke our shared investment in building resilient supports, where collective contributions help sustain progress for the greater good. If these signs of forward movement spark a sense of possibility in you, liking can help spotlight them further, and subscribing connects you to more unfolding accounts of change. The exploration leads to an essential closing reflection that brings deeper clarity to the overall picture. Conclusion. Call to action. As we conclude this in-depth exploration of Philadelphia's complex landscape in 2025, reflecting on the visible struggles in areas like Kensington, the deepening pressures on housing affordability, and the intertwined effects on public health, it becomes clear that informed awareness serves as the foundation for meaningful advancements. In U.S. homeless stories, the numbers tell a compelling tale. Homelessness has climbed to 5,516 individuals this year, marking a 10% increase as per Pew's April 2025 report, a volume that could fill multiple city blocks and highlights the scale of displacement amid ongoing factors like the opioid challenges and a shortage of over 64,500 affordable units for low-income households. As outlined in the Housing Initiative Partnership's May findings, statistics that shock in their magnitude, revealing how hundreds are pushed into unstable situations each month, carrying the quiet weight of disrupted routines and eroded security. Yet, with initiatives like the One Philly Plan, pledging 1,000 additional shelter beds to accommodate thousands nightly, and the HOME initiative's drive to create 30,000 units, including deeply affordable options, there lies tangible opportunity for shift, expanded by efforts in harm reduction aiming for 20 more sites citywide to provide essential resources. These elements invite broader participation. Consider volunteering time at local hubs that already support vast networks, sharing available community aids with those around you, or lending voice to policymakers advancing these comprehensive strategies, each action contributing to a tapestry where mutual support diminishes the isolation felt by so many. In this shared space, the essence of brotherly love can extend more fully, creating environments where stability isn't a privilege, but a reachable standard, easing the subtle hardships that touch lives in profound ways. What if you paused to envision stepping into that uncertainty yourself? How might small, everyday involvements from others make a difference? A reminder that such paths aren't inevitable, but can be altered through our combined efforts. As these insights unfold in U.S. homeless stories, they gently affirm the power of communal empathy, where individual steps weave into lasting change for all. If these reflections have deepened your connection to these realities, a like can echo that sentiment. And subscribing to U.S. homeless stories keeps the dialogue open for future narratives that inspire and inform. Together, we ensure that every step forward resonates, affirming a commitment to a more inclusive tomorrow where no one navigates alone.
Then I get the water over here.
Can I get another picture again?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have the buffalo wind here.